Welcome to the Lara Jane Layton Show. This podcast is for you, the person who keeps putting others first. Your self-talk has held you back. You no longer need to take a second seat. Let's explore ways to overcome self-doubt. You can silence that inner bully voice and achieve your full potential. Here's your host, Lara Jane.
Hello, listener. I have a new best friend with me, and her name is Zakiyyah. And I am so excited to have her on the show. She has a message for us about not fearing our being accepted and how do we just live our happiest life every day. And so I'm really excited to hear from her. Everything about her, that getting a hold of her and her bio are in the show notes, and you can get a hold of her or me or whoever. But I'm so excited to listen to this message. So Zakiyyah, can you go ahead? And I know you had a little story to tell us about being happy.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Laura, for this opportunity. Thank you for having me here on your platform. I appreciate that. So happiness for me today has been a journey to get here. And I think it was important for me to find happiness because I come from a really dark place not so long ago. September of 2019, for my birthday weekend, I was in a really ugly auto accident, and it almost took my life. And it did take two of my dearest friends' life who are no longer here with us. So waking up from that experience to learn of this tragic event, seeing myself in a new body, learning that, my other surviving friends, family member was struggling as well. We were all, severely injured. So surviving just that event alone and attaching it to my birthday it wasn't good. It wasn't good. So it was the physical rehabilitation. It was the rehabilitation, and I was fighting against my own thoughts every day for years. And it just wasn't a good experience. When it's not your experience, it's easy to say, you'll be fine, you're going to get through this. But it has to be your lived experience to really say those words where they have meaning and value.
That's really tragic to lose your friends and everything. How are you able, how long did it take you to get back on your feet and just really start moving forward?
I'm going to say I probably really started pulling myself together after the 3-year mark.
Wow.
The first 2.5 was not pleasant. I went through the judgment of myself. I went through the judgment of other people involved. I went through feeling like possibly my friends that were no longer with me, family judged me. The judgment, accepting my new physical being, and then having to get through that period and tap into gratitude because I am still here. It could have been worse for me. It is worse for some people who have experienced an accident like I went through. So you got to have a lot of conversations with yourself to say, stop crying, right? We're either going to be a victor or a victim, right? And I was the victim for too long. And then I realized I wasn't comfortable in that space. I wasn't comfortable wearing that hat.
I've never heard that before. I've always heard victim and survivor, but I love victor. That is such a better way of putting it. I love it because we don't just survive, we flourish when we are able to let go of that stuff. It's not no longer holding us back. And so, yeah, that's an amazing word. Thank you.
Sure.
So what do you do to stay happy? I know for me, even though I feel like I've conquered things, the thoughts still come back and I have to figure out a way to let go of them and release it. So do the thoughts still come back to you and you just now know how to deal with them, or have you been able to release them?
Oh no, I doubt those thoughts will ever be released. They just don't have as much power as they did once before. A lot of prayer, Laura, a lot of prayer. And that could be through a book, through the TV screen, journaling. Some affirmation cards and bookmarks, which I'll share some of these with you because you just said about a conqueror. So this one here is, I'm more than a survivor, I'm a conqueror, right? And that's just it. You have to constantly, it's a repeat. That's on repeat. I don't think that will ever go away, because when you stop showing gratitude and praying is when those thoughts that you're trying to suppress or that you work to suppress every day can resurface and do damage.
Yeah, even though I do those thought processes, they surface. They just don't control.
You have to acknowledge, I see what's happening here, but I'm rejecting it. I'm not going to let you take a seat here. That's it. It's always the battle of what your thoughts are. So another thing is, don't believe everything you think. And I got that from a training that I'm going through right now to be a certified trainer on teaching Happy for No Reason with Marcy Shimoff. But that is a pillar that is very important to me. And that answers just what you asked. Is we can't believe everything we think, because we have so many thoughts a day. You got to question where they came from, why they're there, and what you're going to do with them. You're going to pocket them or you're going to shred them.
I love that. Happy for no reason. What an amazing, to me, so many people are looking for something external to make them happy. I'll be happy when I get that new car. I'll be happy when the house is paid off. I'll be happy when I get married. I'll be happy, all these things that there's no reason to not be happy now. They're just that natural contentness of, I think when we adopt that gratitude attitude, that all of a sudden you can be happy in the most miserable places. And, this is coming to my mind, so I'm going to share it, but I don't have a reference or a name. But there's the gentleman that was in the prison camps that survived, and didn't just survive. He was he just came out with a positive not positive. He says the reason so many people died was they had the positive attitude that had a time frame on it. Like by Christmas, we'll be out of here. By New Year's, they had these deadlines for it. And he said, I had to let go and just be happy to be here. And those, when you can take away whatever the circumstance is, whether you're in prison and starving because they're not taking care of you, sure, it's not easy. I know it's not easy to be happy all the time, but I have a source that I can tap into at any time to feel that joy and that contentness. And he was able to do that in the prison camps. And he's just like, yeah, he didn't have to have the nice car, or he didn't have to have his whatever we're waiting for to be happy. You don't have to wait. And so I love that part of
Believe it or not, that's another piece of the training that I'm going through. I'll be happy when.
Yeah.
We're never going to be happy when. Once we reach that accomplishment of when we think we'll be happy, it'll be another reason right behind it of something next. I'll be happy when, okay, this wasn't it, so I'll be happy when next. It's not a thing. It has to be within.
Yeah, you've got to be happy now, no matter what the external. I know I will not do weight loss coaching. I will not, because the problem is if you don't like yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you're not, no, I don't care what size you are, you're not going to like yourself. And
Right.
I would rather focus on self-acceptance and
Mm-hmm.
caring and all those things that we can control now. I guess it's not, we don't even have to control it. We have to allow it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, you've got to like and accept you right now and be happy.
I want to share something about that. You're talking about I'll like myself when possibly I lose a pound, right?
Yeah.
For me, it was I'm physically different. I walk different because I have metal implants from the injury. It's a lot of activities and hobbies that I can't do any longer because of these permanent injuries. And I could fool anybody in a still picture. So if I'm posting something on social media or I'm in a picture with somebody, I'm standing still. If you hear me talk, you would assume I'm normal or she's fine. And that's not the case. So for a long time, I was mad. I was angry and I was judging myself and I was assuming that other people were judging me because my gait is off. I would maybe be embarrassed and not wanting to attend certain events because I walk a little different. Some days it may be smooth if I'm going to a short distance, but with some length, I start to stiffen. So my walk is different. And then it was always, oh, I'm maybe not attractive anymore because I walk different. Oh, I have all of these new scars now. I don't want to wear this or wear that because it'll expose these scars. That's another judgment. And it got to the point where I am now. I'm just grateful for everything, the scar, the walk. I'm here because I could sit still. And if I think back to the therapy room in the hospital, there were people there who had amputations. I don't have an amputation. I have my original parts. They may have some additions, but they're my parts. It could have been worse, right? I saw a guy the other day walking across the street. I was at the red light and he had to take it really, really slow. And I said to my daughter, I am blessed. For one, I'm driving my own car. It's not a modified car. And I can possibly get across the street faster than him, even if it's not a smooth walk. So we just have to be grateful for whatever differences we have, because it is worse for some other people who wish they could have what we have, even though it's not comfortable to us. So that living in gratitude has to be present and at the forefront of our all day, every day, and challenging those thoughts with replacing the negatives with gratitude.
I love that. Let's talk a little bit more about replacing that negative with gratitude, but let's do it in just one moment. Let's have a quick word from our sponsor and we'll be right back.
This podcast is sponsored by Lara Jane Coaching. You know you're ready to silence your inner bully voice. Let Lara Jane support you with coaching. To schedule an introduction call, go to larajanelayton.com.
All right, we are back, and I'm so excited to hear about getting some gratitude instead of this negativity. So, what are your tips on that?
Before I close my eyes, when I'm nestling in for bed, I'm thanking God. Thank you for today. Thank you for yesterday. And thank you for tomorrow. When I wake up, I'm saying thank you. The same way I said it before I went to bed. I lost my mom at age 50. She went to bed and didn't wake up. So those words of gratitude are not surface for me. They are deep because I experience what that loss is like when you don't wake up. I experience coming back to life when my friends didn't have that opportunity. I have to be grateful. You just have to be, because there's a higher power. I don't care what you call it. We are not the ensayers of anything. I learned that. So I meditate, I read, I have my affirmation cards that I created right at my desk. So I could be having a tough day and I got to take that break. Or I got to take a break and I flip through my cards to reorganize myself, my energy. Just sometimes sitting in quiet with yourself, it helps. I'm a spa person, so I may just need to go and get that energy moved out. Whatever I have to do for that moment is what I go to. And it may take a few things, right? I may have to pick up a book. I may have to go to a prayer. I may have to meditate. You just have to find what that is for you, even if it's spending time with someone that changes your energy. For me, I like to think of my happier days where I wasn't adulting, childhood. I love board games. I love having fun, right? Yes. Things like that. So if I think back to something that wasn't heavy for me, that can do it.
That's awesome. I love that. Board games are fun because I like them because I get to interact with the people around me, and just it's kind of I have this busy brain. And so just sitting around with a conversation, I have a harder time. But the second you put a game or something where I can be thinking about multiple things, it's my sweet spot.
Yeah, and I'm playing the game. It gets you, shows your competitive side, but a friendly competitive side. It's quality time with whomever you're playing the game with. It's just a good time. It's no worries involved with a game. It's a game. Right? Once we finish playing the game, then life is there again. Everything else that you have to deal with is there. If we take a break from that, we get a chance to relieve a little bit. Right? So,
and every day of life is a game too, and how we play our pawn, which is you or me, is how we progress that day. And with that gratitude that you're talking about, oh man, let's pretend like we're on the game of life or Monopoly. It's like you are thankful for the good and the bad. Yes. And I look at the bad and I look at the good too. All of it is a lesson. Everything I encounter is something I can learn from and grow from. Yes, read it to me. I love your cards.
This one here says, my past has passed. I am creating a beautiful future. So this is another one that I rely on heavily, because when I'm starting to think of that ugly day, those ugly months, I have to remind myself it's behind me now. If I continue to live there, I'm not going to get to where I wish and I desire to be. So if I keep looking at I'm creating a beautiful future, I have to let go of the past. I can't focus on the past and work on a beautiful future at the same time. It's just not going to work.
You can't focus and live there, but you can use it as strength. And, especially when I look at some of the crap that I've gone through, it's like, wow, that was pretty tough. Right. Thank you for helping me get through that. Because for me, I don't feel like it's just me. There's whether it's angels or God or, there's something out there that's helping me get through it. I don't know. There's that one quote about, and I don't even know, you probably know this, but the footprints in the sand, And the guy's looking back and it's like, the toughest time. Why were you not there with me? And it's like, I was carrying you. That's why there's only one set of footsteps. And you just go, yes, there is that source that helps us move forward even when we're at our weakest. Just the beautiful gratitude that we have for God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it. We all have that same support system.
Oh, yeah. I would say to anyone or to the listener that could possibly be in that dark space and they are telling yourself, right, I don't have a purpose, I don't have a reason to be here, I could check out and nobody will miss me, is not true. You have to find what your purpose or what good you could serve to anybody and put yourself out there to be that support. When you support someone else, that is fulfilling to yourself, right? Because we have to not only focus on ourselves, helping someone else get to a better place enriches us, right? It makes us feel better. So if I can pour into you, I can make something better for your life. I'm happy knowing that that's my part.
I love that. And that's why I love all the guests that come on. They're like all have these beautiful messages to share. And yours is, I love the, you hit rock bottom. You had to rebuild a new life a few years ago, and you did it, and you conquered, and you are amazing. And I bet you your daughter, I know, you were mentioning you missed the first few months of her high school. I bet you, as she reflects, she sees the power in you now that, I wanted to have been without a mom for 3 months, but I have a mom.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I have two daughters. So one is a very social butterfly. Mm-hmm. She was a sophomore. She had already experienced freshman year. And then she had her younger sister that came into school who's not the social butterfly. She relies a lot on her big sister. So I was home in 3 months. And then 2 months later, the world came to a pause because that's when we were put on quarantine from COVID. So school came from in person to just virtual. That gave her that break. But I was still attached to a hospital bed in my house. I still couldn't move around and do a lot that I did before she entered high school. So I was there present for her to talk to and have access to, but she still didn't share with me what she was feeling. I guess she kind of, that's, again, we push back our own hardships or whatever we're dealing with to stand up and show up for somebody else. A lot of us do that, right? Mm-hmm. But when we do that, what we're dealing with is festering. It's not going away. It's just building, it's mounting. And at some point, you have to release that and share with someone else what burden you were dealing with and how long you suppressed it and how can I help? How can you or what can I do to get out of that space, right? So it's a cycle. It's a cycle. It's a process. But another message I have is that we cannot just rely on ourselves. We can't be so strong that we don't share with someone else what we are experiencing. Because I was in quicksand and I was pretending that I was okay until I started accepting the help or looking for the help. You have to look for it, and you won't know who's there or what's there for you until you look for it.
I do agree. And it's like, it might already be there, but until you recognize it and identify it, it's like, whoa. So, so sometimes you or I or somebody, people, I don't want to point my finger at you, but sometimes we just take for granted the little things around us And it's when you can recognize the value of those things that all of a sudden that gratitude comes back of, wow, look at this. This is a stupid story, but I'm telling it anyway. When my husband and I first got married, I learned a lot from him. He was the one that made sure he kissed me goodbye on the way out. He's the one that walks around the bed and kisses you goodnight. And he just, those little teeny tiny things. And I always, at first, I kind of rolled my eyes like, this is like a dumb ritual,
Oh, no. You know how many people would love to have that?
No, but I'm just saying, but after now, like I wouldn't think about doing it on my way out. And it took years before it's like, hey, wait, I've chased him to the car before because, hey, wait, you forgot. This is our ritual. This is what we do.
Right. Imagine the person who desires that and they have no one to do that for them.
Right. And I just like, it's that little tiny thing, but it's an effort. And I didn't appreciate it. But I can't live without it now because I accept it. And okay, so I'm feeling vulnerable now.
Listen, that's great. That's great. And you will find someone that loves you even more because of your vulnerability. Yes. That was the review I got from the chapter I wrote, that they appreciated my vulnerability. And I didn't realize I was being vulnerable. I was just getting it off my chest. I didn't, it just started to flow. So just getting it out, whether it's getting it out to yourself, you're writing it. When you write it, you could not look at it again, or you could look at it again and say, wow, that's how I felt. Now, what do I do about it? When you were sharing about taking for granted, and I'll just share this really quick, from the hospital bed, when my visitors came to see me, and they would get up really quick from their chair, whether it was to get something, leave the room, go to the restroom. And that very moment is when I first realized the level of things we take for granted. Because I could not go to the bathroom by myself. I had to ring a bell. I had adults taking care of me who was an adult to help me toilet, help me change. My bath was in my bed. So when I think the message I have here is every time we have a thought that's uncomfortable, you have to always challenge it with, or replace it with, a gratitude, because anything that we feel like is horrible for us is someone else somewhere that has it worse. It's always someone somewhere else that has it worse. So we just have to be grateful for whatever experience we're having, even the painful ones, because it's somewhere else that has it worse.
Yes. And, not that I want to wish worse on anybody, and I would be okay having it the worst, but I am so grateful that I can move. I can, I have all of my mind. I haven't, well, at least I think I do.
You seem pretty sharp to me. Absolutely.
But no, it's just those things we just don't think about, and it's like when we start comparing ourselves, like the fish doesn't need to climb a tree to be cool. Bird doesn't need to swim in the ocean to be cool. We have our unique strengths, and because he can't climb doesn't make him, that fish, any worse than the monkey that's climbing. We are here for us and for our learning. And the comparison's great, but don't get so into comparisons that you end up feeling bad, because there's something in you that you do naturally that you have no idea. And somebody else admires that strength in you. Absolutely. And it's like, appreciate those things that are you.
Right. Absolutely. Are you familiar with Joe Dispenza?
Yes.
I'm a huge fan of his. I was introduced to him when I treated myself to a little device called a Healy that transmits frequencies through your body to help you address whatever balances are off. But his message all the time is pretty much mindset, what you're telling yourself, how you can change so many experiences through mindset alone. Mindset, and I'm going to add gratitude on top of that. So his is mindset, and mine is gratitude.
This is the book I'm reading right now. I have the book in the other room.
Yes.
Breaking the habit of being yourself. But that's by
Breaking
him.
the habit. Nice. Yes.
Yeah. I just barely started the book. In fact, it's in the other room when I thought, okay, today is the day I'm going to read. And then I got distracted.
Oh, yeah. Distractions will always be there for us.
But yeah, he's great. And I love. So it's...
you had it right there. You had it right there in front of you.
Yeah, I have the workbook right here, but the reading one's in the other room. But somebody was reading it, and I thought that's definitely the kind of book that's right up my alley. So just in case, we'll put the link in the show notes. Well, I mean, he's got tons. It's not just the one, he's great. So we are really close to time. And I'm sure there's always that. I don't want to break. I learned so much from everybody, but I know you have some last minute wisdom that you are I just feel it. What else would you like to share with us before we close out?
Don't burden yourself with whatever is not comfortable to you, whatever challenges you're dealing with. Share with someone that could possibly help you, or tap into the free resources that are in abundance on social media. That's free. Find your help. Find someone that you can help to raise your own happiness, because it's there. We have mindset, we have gratitude, and then we have life that we get to help direct.
When you are completely yourself and authentic to you and you're living your life, you automatically inspire other people. So you've been a great inspiration to me today. And for our listener, we're not medical professionals. We are just for entertainment. Our full medical disclosure is in the show notes if you would like to read it. I have totally enjoyed this, and I am going to have an extra bubble of gratitude today because, when it's conscious and it's on your mind, I'm always thankful, but there's some days that you just overflow with gratitude, and I can feel already today's overflowing. I'll go out to nature and enjoy the perfection that exists there.
Right.
Thank you.
You saw that? You're going to go out in nature. What about the ones who can't go out?
You can. Yes. We do the things that we can. And, it wasn't that long ago when I was in a mobility scooter and not able to walk. So, I am very grateful for movement.
Here's another one. Look at that. There's another one. I choose to be grateful for the abilities I do have.
Yes.
Both.
Are these quotes from you, or are they quotes? Oh, cool.
No, I have a set of 30 affirmations that I created. They're either affirmation cards, and I created bookmarks that match. So they can choose from the bookmarks or the cards.
I saw your link to your book, and I didn't buy it because I wasn't dealing with grief. But are those on Amazon also?
Yes, they are.
then I'm going to go find them because I think that sounds amazing. All right. Thank you so much. Listeners, stay tuned for the next episode and we'll talk to you later.
Are you tired of waking up exhausted? You are not alone. If you're looking to take your life back, let's start with the simple step of adjusting your self-talk. Stay tuned for the next episode with your host, Lara Jane. Remember to follow the show so you don't miss a next simple step that you can use to feel more confident. And please leave an honest review.